Shining is the land's light of justice. Ever flows the land's well of purpose. Walk free, walk free, walk free. Believe the land's alive. So
Hello, greetings, welcome, all that good stuff. We are presently back here where we logged out. Let's get started again, shall we? I was trying to wait out the advert, and then it turned out the advert was actually playing, but it didn't tell me that it was playing.
No major injuries then. Good. I briefed the recovered soldiers and sent them on their way as quickly as I could, but nevertheless feared they would not make it in time.
The additional support was invaluable. Your men saved more than a few lives. Though not all, I regret to say.
I take it that I'm addressing Lucia Junius. I'm the Forum's envoy, Forchano Leveilleur. And you are owed an explanation for these most dire developments.
Another trial wrought by the final days. I was beginning to suspect as much. You doubtless feel some consternation having been forced to abandon your original plan. But trust me when I say you were right to send the refugees elsewhere. Beasts have been sighted within the capital. Perhaps it was a stroke of grim fortune that the population was decimated beforehand, as they've yet to appear in any great number, but in time. In any case, Maxima leads the remainder of the contingent in an effort to cull the creatures and evacuate the populace as we speak. Once the airships have taken to the skies, I pray your men can be persuaded to join him.
You'll permit us to retain our weapons?
I wouldn't have sent you after the Scions where I expect.
And
Sorry, I didn't mean
I,
to
for
click
one,
that.
would not consider past transgressions more relevant than future contributions. Regardless of the circumstances that saw us at odds before, we need men of courage now, more than ever.
Stupid twitchy fingers.
We swore to defend Garlemald, and so we shall.
It seems you have everything under control. You will excuse me then, for mine own duties await.
A moment, Master Fortuneau. You did desire to express your appreciation for services rendered, did you not?
I did. Though if you intend to again ask that Charlian alter its course, you will find my gratitude insufficient.
'Tis nothing so onerous. I wish to hear the details of this grand endeavor of yours.
Do you swear to listen and to learn, and not to embark upon some scheme to impede us?
I swear.
Any other I would doubt, but you I trust to keep your word. For not once have you broken it. Very well. I will request that the Forum make you privy to our plans. You may await our summons at the Baldessian Annex, assuming the decision is in your favor. Does that suffice?
It does. You have my thanks. Excellent. You can regale us with tales of your most recent sojourn to the First while we wait. Did you hear something just now?
I did not. Zombie bunny. She's really hungry.
Where is this star's blasted pudding?
Yep. Okay. I wasn't expecting them to have come down. Okay.
Dawn may banish even the darkest night, and to this bitter clime bring warmth and comfort. 'Tis heartening to see such an assembly upon my return. I thought often of you whilst I looked down upon our star's brilliance from the moon above.
Yes, but what are you doing here? And dressed like that? Aren't you cold?
Verily, I fear for my health should I proceed to expound upon our purpose ere I procure more suitable garments.
Poor Ranger.
Then allow me to summarize. We're here because none of you lot are up there. Nor has anyone deigned to send word about any changes in the plans. It's rude, is what it is. At least that's what I thought at first, but then folks got to wondering if you weren't in a spot of bother, so we decided to take matters into our own hands. Come down here and help, if our help be needed. So she says, but it's also something of a convenient excuse to visit Aetherius. Urianger made it sound absolutely marvelous. More so before the impending doom, but still. And it's not like there will ever be a better time. What with the aforementioned doom?
Marvellous, they say, yet not an ounce of pudding to be found. I must suffer Urianger's inferior works no more.
Hey! Maybe consider the plight of present company before you go blathering on about pudding and doom? Ahem. Should you require any assistance with whatever, we are at your disposal. We were born from Hydaelyn's love for the lives of this star, so naturally we would much prefer to see them continue. Twiddling our thumbs up on the moon is hardly conducive to that, though, is it?
True.
Not when you've all got such precious thoughts and feelings and hopes for the future deserving of more active preservation. Speaking to Urianger made us realize that while we've carried out our duties to the letter, we've failed to fulfill them in spirit. From there, it was just a hop, skip, and a jump towards resolving to do better. So please, show us how. Help us help you.
I'm really concerned that they'll eventually become a playable race.
Forgive me, but are they...
Thy distant collaborators, indeed.
Hail, fellow, well met. You'd be a member of the Forum, would you? It's an honor and a pleasure to meet you at last. I'm Livingway, Hydaelyn's right paw. That last bit is very important, as am I, if I may humbly say so myself.
I'm very important. I'm not sure how humble you know I am.
Bid you welcome to our star, Livingway. On behalf of the Forum, I thank you for traveling such a distance to meet us. As you have surmised, preparations for the Exodus have not proceeded as smoothly as we had hoped. I should be happy to personally escort you to our headquarters in Sharlayan, where you may advise us as you deem fit.
I'm still wandering around in
It was
background.
with reluctance that I set aside the great work of readying the moon for habitation. Be assured that I did so only after the Loperids made plain their earnest desire to come hither, and I myself felt a growing certainty that their contributions here would prove invaluable. 'Tis trite, perhaps, but I followed my heart.
May thy disciples banish this darkest of nights. Good to have you back.
For a time, at least. Nevertheless, 'twas worth the journey to find present company well. Wilt thou attend us at the Forum and lend thine own wisdom?
Still wandering around in
If
the
that's all
background.
quite settled, can we start moving before Urianger catches his death? Even up?
Oh, I dare say you'll warm up quickly once you're aboard the airship. Sat shoulder to shoulder with our fur-covered friends.
Oh, teleports us straight down here, nice. What about that? I dare say Master Fortunal was nonplussed as revealing the identity of Hydaelyn's lunar custodians, as he will soon discover, they have much and more to offer the Forum. Might I suggest we return to the Annex forthwith? We may yet have some time to discuss thy recent adventures ere we are summoned to the rostra. Yeah. Get ourselves straight to the annex. There it be. I shall just be a second. There we go, much better. I'm guessing it's going to be kind of slow loading because it'll be trying to process all the characters, and there will be quite a lot of people logged in as the most recent patch hit like a day or two ago. Just gonna quickly pour myself a drink, I think. Not that I'm complaining, J. I wasn't expecting to see you quite so soon. Nor I thee. In extolling the virtues of Aetheris, I did inadvertently awake the Leporites a desire to avert our beloved star's demise. Carl tells us you've obtained new knowledge that may aid us in our ongoing efforts. I have news to share regarding our study of the ethereal sea, but your findings are certain to be of greater interest. And so I would rather hear them first. To what revelations did Heidelin's Elpis flower lead? Well, it led to a research facility, sort of. We learned a lot of things, and the apocalypse is at the end of the universe. Or galaxy. I'm not remembering which exactly it was. Then this dynamist is what draws the final days. If it and the Kasha are one and the same, this all but proves Nidana's theory. We're an entity, through sheer force of emotion, to channel this vast, dormant reservoir into a raging river. Its power might surpass even that of ether. But if our star is so replete with ether, said entity would need to be outside its influence to effectively manipulate the dynamis of great expanse. Etienne, or rather the sorrow and suffering of a fallen civilization she has been holding for millennia. Untold anguish and fear and hatred, drawn from every corner of the universe, all for a single purpose, the destruction of Aetheris. And our foe is no longer some unknowable calamity. We have but one aim, to defeat Meteon. You make it sound so simple, but you're not wrong. Vanquish Meteon, and we deliver the world from the final days. But to even attempt it, there are two conditions. First, we must determine her location. Before Meteon escaped, an enchantment was placed upon her by Vna, the woman who would become Heidelin. The implications of temporal magic are not entirely understood, so we cannot assume that our Heidelin and the Vna who met Elpis are one and the same. Nevertheless, due to her intrinsic qualities as an all-powerful being, I'd wager that Heidelin possesses the knowledge we seek. Whether she would share that knowledge with us, however, remains to be seen. After all, she intends for us to flee Aetheris, not to stay. Suppose she has abandoned her pursuit of Meteon. The Vna I know would never give up. That's my impression too. Otherwise, she wouldn't have used me as a conduit of her will. Or provided such clues such as the Elpis flower. I believe she has been waiting for mankind's answer to Hermes' question. So, what's the second condition? We must find a means to reach Mateon. Naturally, our chosen method will depend entirely on wheresoever she has made her nest. Then, communion with Hydaelyn must be, by necessity, come first. Did you and Master Matoya have any luck with your investigation of the Ethereal Sea? Sadly not. Though we enlisted the help of Ironfold and other Echo and Blessed allies, we couldn't detect so much as a whisper from Hydaelyn, even from within the Antitower. Master Matoya is of the opinion that the years since abandoning it, Forum has found some other method of receiving instructions from Hydaelyn. If so, it would likely be some form of apparatus for observing the Ethereal Sea, built close to home. Sorry to interrupt, but we've just had word from the Forum. Your presence is required at the Rostra, where they intend to discuss the Great Exodus. And Father was able to persuade them. Maybe not. I've finally taken this seriously. Let's hear what they have to say. Alright, let's go. I could go around speaking to them all, but I'll be completely honest, I just really want to get caught up with the story. And it's usually just like little flavour stuff anyways. Okay, so the roster was that weird one just up there. Oh, there's a teleporty boy right there as well. Oh dear. The forum is in session, and as such, the rostra is closed to visitors. Sign of the seventh dawn? Very well, you may wait in the corridor. Of course, entry will only be permitted on the condition you leave your armament at the door. Lest you forget, this is a sacred institution. This sacred institution holds rational discourse in the highest. The implements of war are expressly forbidden. Really? I don't believe I was disarmed the last time I came in here, but okay.
There is a matter I wish to raise with you before we enter.
Alright.
We are here to listen and to learn. But if the Forum's plans are more or less what I expect, then I should like to make a proposal that will serve our ends. By your leave, of course.
Oh, go for Alfina. Well, I screwed up a couple of times, it's fine.
I don't see why not. Your words and wits have gotten us this far.
Agreed. I will present our queries so that you may consider the most advantageous way to advance your proposal without distraction.
Thank you, everyone.
If I may have your attention, the ad hoc session will now commence. The purpose of today's assembly is to brief the Scions of the Seventh Dawn at their request on the Great Exodus. You may enter. On behalf of the Forum, I commend your heroic actions on the Magna Glaciers. We shall not soon forget your service to us and the people of Radzat-Han.
Right.
The Satrap, whom we have informed of the refugees' new arrangements, sings your praises as well. As an expression of our gratitude, we will endeavor to answer your questions as fully and openly as we are able.
Then let us begin. First, it is the Forum's objective to ferry the life and knowledge of this star to the moon. Am I correct?
You are. It is for this purpose that Sharlayan has labored these many long years. We have collected biological samples and scientific records from across the star. When the time comes, they will be moved from their places in Labyrinthos and Numenon and conveyed to safety. Once that critical task has been accomplished, we will begin transporting the Sharlayan citizenry, which has been categorized into groups. The earliest arrivals are to ensure hospitable environs for those who come after. Following our people, we will send those of other nations in turn, beginning with our allies. Radzat-Han was foremost among these. But since the final days have already come to Thavnair, we saw fit to include the refugees with earlier groupings.
An ambitious plan. You have accounted for the safety of all nations and tribes, then?
As many as we can.
And how, pray tell, do you decide who to leave behind?
To journey beyond the sky is an unprecedented and immeasurably difficult endeavor. Introducing sources of inevitable conflict would condemn all to certain death.
Are they planning to leave behind the galleons, I imagine?
Questions as to the validity of that approach aside, are your plans proceeding apace? We're under the impression that your primary means of celestial transportation is incomplete.
If only in that it does not meet our optimal parameters, that is correct. This arc, as some have taken to calling it, is fully operational and could be launched even today. However, the final days have progressed more quickly than we anticipated. At present, the ship is incapable of attaining speeds sufficient to meet our evacuation targets. Should we put the vessel into service, as it is now, we will be unable to travel to the moon and back quickly enough to complete the necessary number of trips. Precious lives and knowledge will be lost.
Is there anything to be done?
The ether burner, the primary means of propulsion once the craft is in the space between stars, is undergoing testing to determine whether it can be made more efficient. Though cargo is being loaded for the initial phase of the Exodus, we are prepared to continue our experimentation up to the day before launch, should it prove necessary.
What would be handy is if they had a way to
What if the Scions were to solve your problem?
convert Akasha into ether somehow. That would probably help. Apparently, outside it's just rife with it.
We shall help devise a means to improve the ether burner's efficiency, on 2 conditions. If we succeed, you must allow us to meet with Hydaelyn.
"'Twas simple enough to deduce. You have a Concord, and so you would never have abandoned the anti-tower had you no other means of communication. One far more convenient, I suspect.
The second condition, also to be met upon our success, is that we be permitted to propose another use for your Ark.
We would be at liberty to refuse this proposal.
Of course. If we cannot prove its merit to the 99 here, who are we to stake on it the lives of all peoples of the star?
Delightful as always, Master Alfino. Oh, we couldn't have asked for a finer plan. Allow us to solve this complex engineering problem of which we were entirely unaware until moments ago. What could possibly go wrong? The satire writes itself. Yet, what field has not benefited from a change in perspective? When we are at wit's end, what we need is not the same dry theories recited ad nauseam, but fresh inspiration. I, for one, have faith in my erstwhile students to provide it, and I find their terms to be perfectly acceptable.
Order! Order! We have no time to waste on debate. I call a vote. All in favor of agreeing to the Scion's terms?
There's quite a few.
"71 in favor, 28 against. The ayes have it. Fortuneau, as the architect of this project, you are the best candidate to show them its current state. And bear in mind that regardless of your personal misgivings, this is the will of the Forum.
Very well.
I don't think it'd be
Pull
smart
the session to a
to...
close. Return to your tasks with urgency. The final days wait for none.
It wouldn't be smart to get like a gigantic clump of crystal because you wouldn't know exactly how much you need to bring. You also wouldn't know... like how much you would need for the... well, that's literally the same thing. Like you'd also need to account for the weight of the crystal as well. So it can't be like an ether converter like we had with the Nidhogg and stuff. Sorry about not letting the rest of you in on my plan. I was, admittedly, thinking on my feet for the most part. But since we require both a means of communicating with Hydaelyn and reaching Mateon, in the spur of the moment I saw involving ourselves in the completion of the Ark as a way to work towards both objectives simultaneously. However, we must first keep our end of the bargain by solving the problem of the ether burner. I like to think it's not a challenge beyond our combined expertise, or at least the expertise of our intended circle of associates. It might behoove us to learn how the ether burner actually works before we attempt to improve it, though. Usually helps a bit, Elfina, usually helps a bit. As instructed, I shall take you to see the ether burner. Meet me outside the Archaeon. I trust you shall make your own way there. Oh, the Ark is being built in Labyrinthos. How this surprising. Where else could they conceal such a massive undertaking? Oh wait, Archaeon, was that the one that was underground? That's the wrong place, that is also the wrong place, that is going further and further away. It was, okay. I wasn't sure if the Archaeon was like the way to get downstairs, or if it was the downstairs part already. Our destination lies in the lowered levels. The Forum, in its wisdom, has granted you access to the Archaeon's lift. Step inside and have Opheline take you to the Meteor Circuit. Can I just go with you guys? Oh. Underground, underground, na 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 na. Wish you was a lift, yes? Yes, I do. Thanks, mate. I've sent your associates ahead to Logisticon Alpha, on the other side of Mirial Agronomics. Actually, there is something I've been meaning to... No, never mind. It can wait. Let's attend to the matter at hand. I'm guessing I was going to ask, like, how Elfina and Alzir are actually doing. Because it's not really had a chat with them, like, at all. I'll check. Can I? No, I can't. Okay. If you're wondering where my thought process was going then, it was, can I fly? And the answer is no. No, I cannot. Likely one of the quests is this one here. And we'll grab that on his way through. And yes, I did kind of forget to do these. I was going to spam click my way through this. 1 second. Okay, so yeah, I must have been hopping on this mount a bunch during Shadowbringers, because this is just reminding me of Shadowbringers. Also, I feel like I should get this on like a playlist for when I sleep, because it's really nice and calm. Right, wait here while our father arranges for us to use the next lift. Here, being Logisticon Alpha, where the atmospheric conditions of Labyrinthos are regulated. There, I can say words. Water is drawn from underground and dispersed as vapor, stimulating the formation of additional artificial clouds and rain. By manipulating the temperature and air circulation, they are able to create the ideal environment for the growth and preservation of the biological samples kept here. Hold on. How do you know so much about it? Why, Father brought me here as a child. What? And left me behind? Actually, you're the one who left me behind. You were off somewhere with Grandfather. The night before, I'd been asking Father how clouds were made, so he decided to show me. It was fascinating. I peppered him with questions the entire time. It is all too easy to take for granted the many interweaving aspects of the natural world, to grow inured to the wondrous. But having gained an understanding of the complex mechanisms employed by the laboratories in recreating a similar environment, I have come to view such processes in a new light. The subterranean gardens of the Labyrinthos, the lunar prison forged to contain the ancient Zodiac, the habitations built for all mankind beneath the moon's surface, each unique yet undeniably similar. It is no mere coincidence. Ever since Heidelin unfolded to us the grim fate that awaits Aetheris, every essential resource we could spare has been delivered to the Labyrinthos, in preparation for the Great Exodus. But that is not all. It's also a testing ground for the technologies that will allow us to settle on the distant star. The Laporats have endeavoured to make the moon inhabitable. That is not our final destination. Mankind must learn to propagate life where there is none, to thrive where all is barren. Alas, time is not on our side. I've arranged for you all to enter the central circuit. It is there that most of our preparations for the Great Exodus are carried out. The construction of the Ark among them. Though our plans have been made public, access remains highly restricted. You, however, will not be subject to said restrictions, and will have free rein to come and go as you please. Such was the will of the Forum, after all. We will prove ourselves worthy of their trust, your trust. Let us proceed. If the way that he acts is a bit like how Kratos acts in God of War. It's like he's sealed himself off for that long. He doesn't really know how to engage them in conversation, I think. By decree of the Forum, the Signs of the Seventh Dawn are permitted to enter the central circuit. Yes. It's like little Amara. Amara? I'm not even sure. The ether burner is being constructed not far from here. Overseeing the work is Kokol Dankol, after whom the forge is named. Once the necessary introductions have been made, I shall leave you with him to discuss the particulars. This way. I feel that they'll keep it separate with like a force field and stuff. Yeah, well, I think... No, we're probably going that way on like a quest. Plus I don't want to risk like running all the way up there just for it to be like, nope, you're not allowed to use it yet. There's that would suck. A name like that, is it maybe a kobold? Or a goblin? Nope, it is neither. A Lalafell. A potato.
Could swap them. No, been there, done that. Damn near lost my eyebrows. Think, Coco, think! We'd be well on our way to paradise. Visionaries patting themselves on the backs for their grand accomplishments if you'd only think!
Yes, that does sound rather lovely.
Yeah! I mean, Master Force, you know, what a pleasant surprise. We're not blasting off already, are we?
The schedule remains unchanged, for better or worse. Which is why the Forum has elected to accept assistance in resolving the Etherburner conundrum.
Huh. Not seen you lot down here before.
There are Archons among their number, but engineering is not their expertise. Nevertheless, the Forum concedes the slim possibility that they may have insights to offer. If not, you are at liberty to return them to the surface, by whatever means you see fit.
I assure you that won't be necessary. Now, about your troubles with the Etherburner.
Aye, I'll walk you through it. Suppose I could do with a change of pace. As the name ought to tell you, the Etherburner burns ether, ambient or otherwise, and transforms it into motive force. Think of it like a giant bomb that never stops exploding. Even out in that black void where the ether's right sparse, it's strong enough to move our arc. And it probably won't kill you like an actual bomb. But it ain't perfect. According to my calculations, to travel to the moon and back fast enough for the Forum's liking, the conversion rate needs to be 6% more efficient. A measly 6%, you say? But if I could have squeezed even another 0.6 out of it, don't you think I'd have built it that way in the first place?
Hast thou consulted with the Loperites?
Yes, they too are conducting their own research, for lack of a ready answer. The moon's propulsion systems are considerable, naturally, yet they are commensurately massive. It is no easy feat to convert their technology into an efficient means of propulsion for a teeny tiny toy boat, as they say, and as I most certainly do not.
Yes, exactly! Damn it all, I asked for refined adamantite and they send me uppity rabbits with inscrutable, ancient, incompatible technology! You're trying to drive me mad!
Do you speak of Allegan refined adamantite, perchance?
You know of it?
Only in the most general terms, I'm afraid. 'Twas an alloy of Allegan make, but the secrets of its production were closely guarded. As I recall, the record stated it was vital to Dalamud's construction and launch.
Aye, that's the stuff. No material more conductive far as I know. Slotting some ends like blowing up a dam and watching the river of ether come rushing through. Ain't a living soul that knows how to make it though. We were fortunate enough to salvage some for the Etherburner, just a wee bit, mind, from a chunk of Dalamud that came hurtling into the Northern Empty during the calamity. With more, well, that extra 6% efficiency would be child's play. It's a crying shame that we've no other sources.
Surely the many shards of Dalamud scattered throughout Eorzea would suffice. Why not get the refined adamantite from them?
Oh, we tried, believe you me. But only a few specialised pieces would have had any in them to begin with. Drive cores from Ragnarok-class internment hulks. Those are the prize bits we really need. According to the Gleaners, getting to them means delving deep into the shards. And the defences are still very operational and very eager to blow them up. It's rough going in there, even for the cream. Not sure they'd make it out alive.
You want me to go fetch the Watsits?
That may be for the best, though you doubtless find the task too dull for your liking.
There are multiple internment hulks in Eorzea alone, so handling this ourselves may not be the most efficient option. Rather, if we could salvage adamantite from the shards simultaneously... Thancred, is the link shell we established before you went to Garlemald still active?
Of course. The floor is yours.
If we get like each city state, go for the closest.
Gathering firewood, so to speak. We alone can accomplish little, but joined by others, we may yet build a bonfire to carry us heavensward. This is Alphino. The Scions have need of you.
Understood. I will contact the Lord Commander and dispatch our finest at once.
My sisters are somewhat preoccupied with the final days, so I will lead the 12-Sword expedition myself.
Are you aware of any other sources of refined adamantite?
Logically, such an invaluable alloy would have been utilized solely where absolutely necessary, in components intended to conduct or collect surpassing amounts of ether. Any extant instrumentation or devices would have likely found their way into the hands of etherologists or enthusiasts.
Magical artifacts of Allagan design? The Eastern Alliance will send word to one and all.
No, they won't use that. No, they wouldn't use
Are
that.
there other ways we may offer aid? No shards of the Lesser Moon scar our soil, but our stake in this cause is no less for it.
Is there anything in Othard that might be of use to you?
What did you say? Oh, you got friends in far places, lad. Any road, if you're offering, I wouldn't say no to one of those Far Eastern sacred relics. Some of them can hold enough ether to summon a whole damn primal. Combine a source like that with the ether burner, and 3, 2, 1, kaboom!
I gather you heard his explosive enthusiasm. Might you secure us a suitable relic?
It shall be done. I know little of machines, but I promise we will do our utmost to gather the materials you need to finish your starship. I am glad for the work, in truth. Better to busy oneself than wait and fret over disasters foretold.
Then why are we all still standing about yapping? This plunder for the taking. And I'm a born plunderer. I'll be an old Charlian before you know it. Start mixing the grog.
I'm certain that can be arranged. Thank you all, and do be careful.
Just like that.
Aye, just like that. Our refined adamantite is on its way. Now let us consider our next steps, shall we? There's yet much to be done.
You can tell he's proud of him, he just doesn't know how to say it. Greetings, Kyle. Times like these, we're reminded how famous or infamous Elfino has become. Who'd have thought he could achieve so much with a single link-pearl conversation? As for expecting rather a lot of visitors in the near future, I'd best return to the surface and inform the relevant parties. I also have contacts of my own that might be worth a try. Oh? And who might that be? That's for me to know and you to find out. And on that note, I'll leave matters in your capable hands. Best of luck. Oh, got another cutscene. Okay. Meanwhile, in Ulda.
Our course of action is clear. We must harvest refined adamantite from the shards of Dalamud and procure arcane relics of Allagan make. Summon the best and brightest of our immortal flames and form an expeditionary party at once. Call upon the Sultan Sworn and Brass Blades for support as you must. Papashan, send word to the guilds. We will require the expertise of master artisans if we are to have any hope of identifying and recovering these elusive materials. Viergeist, we have need of your stone torches. They are to assist the immortal flames in scouring the ruins and to help secure the surrounding areas. I trust I can count on your support.
As commander of the Stone Torches, my son Zimberg will personally see it done.
Nod.
Pippin, I would have you lead the raiding party. Assemble your finest, and with Tizona's blade clear the way. Lord Lolorito, I pray you take charge of the search for Allagan relics. Surely you know of some being traded on open or clandestine markets, or sleeping in collectors' vaults. Of course, I ask not that you do this out of the kindness of your heart. By all means, profit on the transactions. I wish you the joy of it. The final days descend upon our world. If circumstances are truly as dire as they say, Uldar's best efforts may be for naught. And yet, when we Eorzeans rose from the ashes to rebuild our broken realm, did we not learn one simple truth? That which seems all but impossible to overcome alone may yet be possible if we stand together.
Too right.
It was the Scions who united us then, and it is the Scions who call upon us now. Uldar will answer that call. We will summon our courage and join the fight for our world's future. You know your duties. I, Nanamo Ul Namo, 17th in the line of On, bid you good luck and Godspeed.
Yeah, there's a lot of moments in here where I'm like, yes, and quite a lot of them happened last stream. I was maybe a little bit louder than intended last stream. Oh, we're moving to Gridania.
We fielded a goodly number, but our ranks are heavy with healers, and an abundance of restorative magics will be of little help in destroying Dalamud's defenses. Still, it has ever been thus with Gridania. We must steel ourselves for a protracted engagement.
Yes, let me go.
In that case, might I suggest taking us along?
Commander Hext, what are you doing here?
None of the shards in Girabania are big enough to hold an internment hulk. So we said to ourselves, why not lend our neighbors a hand? We thought you might be short on people with a talent for breaking things.
While it pains me to admit it, you are right. Our deficiency so plain to see.
It might have been a lifetime ago, but I was once one of the scions assigned to the Shroud. I know this forest well. I know your people. And I know we will be stronger if we fight this fight together.
Then I will impose upon you with a clear conscience. Come, let us speak of how to integrate our forces.
I appreciate giving the others, like, more of a time to shine. Because it's not just Kane Senna, you got her siblings as well.
I won't let it all be for nothing. I promise you, Papalimo.
This is like the music that plays in Crystal Tower. Okay. Actually, maybe more appropriately, it's Calls of a Hammer.
There you are! We've no time to waste, brother. Everyone has already... That was a roar! A dragon's roar!
I'm doubting that the dragons have moved into action. I doubt that they've heard anything from Lake Pole. But if they could enlist the dragons in aiding with the Algan stuff...
In summation, the Eastern Alliance, as well as the Honourable Lord Lolorito himself, reached out to me for assistance in procuring these treasures of the Divine, and I, in turn, do beseech the Confederacy for aid. Is that...
Hancock? What a surprise this is.
Yes.
And a fortuitous one at that. I have a favor to ask, you see.
Right, before we actually start that, I want to see what this armor looks like. I can't get like too into it. I need to check this stuff out as well. Oh, that's why I didn't equip it. perfectly recommended. Nope, it does not have it because it can't actually see it. Okay, so that's more like traveller attire. I'm going to need to empty that at some point, but not just yet. We'll deal with the story stuff first. I'll sort this after stream. Now our friends are searching for refined adamantite and sacred relics. We will only know if they meet your requirements once they've arrived. In the meantime, is there aught else we might be do to be of service? You've already done more than enough. I'd say though, I could use someone who knows a thing or two about Algan technology. You there, up with the red eyes and matching hair. You seem to know more than your average scholar. Ha! Flying Master Kickle knew how right he was. While he and Graha established rapport, why don't we help with preparations for the Great Exodus? Indeed, this would mean going above and beyond the terms of our arrangement, but I propose this not to curry favour. As confident as I am that we will succeed, we must be ready for every eventuality. This would also be an opportunity to familiarise ourselves with logistics of traversing the Great Expanse. And if nothing else, it beats twiddling our thumbs while we wait for the adamantite. Well, ain't you a bunch of helpful buggers? If you'd mind to lend a hand, I know where you ought to go. Charlie and Hammond, it allows you with the research and the scholarly types, busying themselves preparing for the Exodus. A lot of them need to help. Well, I'll need all the help they can get. Well then, off we go. I'm guessing this will be up to the town that we didn't go to yet. Catch you later, Graha. So, if I look at the ones that are full, and I plan from there. Oop. Just try and keep an eye on the minimap and turn it as and when required. That's close. I should probably level the tank and then I can get rid of those. Sophists as well. Right, this will be fine for now. Don't need to worry about that for a little bit. I should probably move those into a glamour chest, to be fair. Look at that. That is architecture. I'll be honest, past that, I don't really know what to call it. From what I can tell, a lot of people actually live down here. I don't know how much help we can offer, but I dare say they'll benefit from some sort of that fresh inspiration scholar Monteshang I mentioned. Start by asking around, ideally without getting in anyone's way. Let's meet by the Aetheryte once our work is done. I mean, cool, but before I do that, I'm gonna go grab the Aetheryte. Pardon me. Just gonna spam his way through this one sec. There we go, sorted. Right, Yeah, I'm actually amazed at how close to 90 I am. So, just under half a level. Right, I need to move that over here as well. Help him with the arc. Even with all the power of Master Cockles managed to squeeze out of the ether burner, it's still not enough apparently. Now I hear the final days have arrived. Horrible creatures running rampant all over. If only we'd begun the exodus sooner. People are dying and there's no end to it if we don't fulfill our duties. But we will. We spent years preparing for this moment. Believe in the plan, and all will be well. Alright, but is there a way that I can help out with this? Let me know how I can help. Oh, hello, are you one of the new helpers? Yeah, kind of. Working on the ether burner. Oh dear. I hear things have come to a standstill on that front. Even so, I choose that over my current duties. Checking and loading the samples, day in, day out. It's tiring, thankless work. Still, none will be crossed if I misplace a few lagoons and what have you. The farm's got enough on their plate as it is. Or deciding who gets to board the ark and when. Lots of powerful people have opinions about that. My hat goes out to Master Fulshino and the others. Not that it's a moment's rest, I expect. They even have time to sleep? Probably not much, in all honesty. Probably not much. Comes with the stresses of trying to prevent a mass extinction. Offering to help? That's very kind, but I should be able to organise the rest of the documents by myself. It's mostly lists of things we'll need once we arrive on the moon. Then whichever star we choose as our new home, my duties largely concern the maintenance of living conditions, so I'll be a lot busier after we depart. I hear that our lunar collaborators have come down to assist in our efforts. I'm looking forward to finally meeting them in person, after having communicated with them for such a limited capacity thus far. To be perfectly honest, I'm not even the slightest idea what they look like. I do hope they're not enormous looming giants. I would much prefer something small and fluffy, like that behatted rabbit that ran by. Was there a behatted rabbit that ran by? I can see the porogos. Ah, hello, living room. Fancy meeting you here. Our friends in the forum bring us to see the teeny tiny boat, which was quite impressive considering they didn't use any creation magics. What we're really interested in is Aetherius itself, though we now find ourselves in a sort of funny underground miniaturized version of it. We were hoping the forum would give us a guided tour, but it appears they're rather preoccupied. Honestly, all that time to prepare and they're still not ready. I suppose we'll just have to show ourselves around, or at least that's what we were planning to do until we chanced upon Oriange and your good self. Since you're both dawdling about, engaging in idle chit-chat, perhaps you could show us a few points of interest. Wouldn't that be fun? But I'm only newly here myself. A tour of Labyrinthos? An unexpected yet prudent suggestion. Given the similarities betwixt this artificial environment and the Bestways Burrow, it would be in our best interests to have the Laporites acquaint themselves with these conditions deemed optimal by the Sharlayan collaborators. I fear, however, that continued reliance upon my limited knowledge would risk narrowing, rather than broadening their perspectives. Maybe thou art better to lead this venture. What a marvellous idea! Might we begin with that great big what's-it over yonder? Ah yes, the what's-it. I shall leave its explanation to sanctity. I don't know why I did the clear throat. That's the clear. Oh, that is a huge what's-it. Unless that's not the huge what's-it they're on about. There may be a who's it somewhere. Oh, where's it? Oh, why is it? Goodness me! To build something so large without creation magics, it's positively stupendous. Perhaps you could direct our attention to its most important features. It's a little hard to see from here, but is that a golden pipe connected to the top of those tanks? And I can see through that window another pipe at the bottom. Ah, this must be for purifying water drawn from down below. Is that water right here from inside? That great big tube? It must be because of the cogs and that gigantic wheel at the top. Oh, I see. That's how they draw up the water. There's probably some sort of spiral-shaped mechanism inside too. And the mushroom-like thing. Looks like the trees in the Great East Elmsvale. Hold on, that's a bit of a strange shape. It's thin at the bottom, but big and round at the top. Quite tall for something so unbalanced too. Now it makes sense. That's where they store the water. Why did my accent suddenly change and pronounce it as water? Well, if I were to hazard a guess, water drawn from underground, presumably with some other mechanism, is purified here and stored in that tower before being distributed everywhere, or elsewhere. I'm right, aren't I? I knew it. A design brilliant in its simplicity. I dare say it would only take a moment to install it in the harshest environments. Just the porous it is. Indeed. Securing a reliable source of water is the utmost importance for any fledgling settlement. Sorry about that. We have read, however, that peoples on Etheris sometimes make their homes in arid deserts and such. How are they able to survive? Many settlements in Thanalan are built near an oasis. So wherever you choose to live, you're never far from water. Oh dear, I worry we won't be able to procure the necessary amount. We could provide enough water to keep them from drying out completely, but it would appear they rely on it far more than we'd anticipated. A few adjustments may be in order, once we've calculated the average rate of consumption per individual. It may also be worth learning more about how exactly they obtain their water in the first place. Master Alfnil spoke of machinery responsible for that feat during our visit through the Logisticon Alpha, did he not? Mayhap the Laportes will share his appreciation of the engineering marvel. Oh yes, that sounds absolutely splendid. We must journey beyond the sanctuary of the Sharlayan hamlet. I shall lead the way. You mean we'll have to brave the untamed wilderness? A valid concern indeed. We could not help but notice that many dangerous-looking creatures with big, nasty teeth lurking beyond the safe confines of this settlement. Were we not escorted here by burly custodians, I would think what would have become of us. Regrettably, to many, a hungry predator with the aforementioned big, nasty teeth, leopards may appear to be a potential, rather appetizing source of sustenance. Might I impose upon thee to assist in securing safe passage to Logisticon Alpha? For my part, I shall act as escort to Living Way and Cooking Way. I entrust Singing Way and Growing Way to thy care. Ye can trust me with it, Urianger. A more valiant protector they could not wish for. Godspeed. If it's all the same to you, I'd rather not be eaten by some horrid beastie. Come along, Growing Way, to the water extraction, Watson. Don't run off. Come on. Right, what we're gonna do? Nope, not Mount Roller. Geishal Greens. There you are, Bertha. Mount up. And away! I should probably look more into like the like leatherworking stuff. Yeah, I attempt to get like other recipes and stuff, like the master recipes. I'm missing like the first two. I've got 3. I'm pretty sure 3 had the nope, apparently not. Oh no, it didn't have them, it was just I've got 56 to 60. It was near the bottom of here. No, it wasn't. Where was it? Where are you? Well, it's somewhere. It's somewhere in the craftable stuff. Oh, there it is. Level 50 recipes. Oh yeah, because 60 was Heaven's Ward End. Okay. Yeah, you could actually get these as craftable, but it required that you have like a certain masterwork recipes just to be able to craft them. I should try and unlock some more of the books. Just need to work out, you know, where to actually get them first and foremost. I think the only other place I've seen these was Stormblood. Thank you so much. I really hope this water extraction mod is worth the harrowing experiences. All part of the fun, some might say, but I'd rather not be burnt to a crisp if it's all the same to you. Me too, friend, me too. Jesus. While we're here, we might as well. See if Mick again about it there, doesn't it? Plus, since we're bypassing it, we might as well. Grr. Here, have a ripe fruit. Oh, look at that. Whoa. I really hope no one was here to clip that, because that would possibly be kind of embarrassing. We have fun here. My friends, I bid you welcome to Logisticon Alpha. Our destination doth lie at the lift's top. Pray, follow me. Fadel-Masson. Marvellous, simply marvellous. So, this is where the magic, or science rather, takes place. A perfect environment to sustain life, artificially created. The knowledge we'll gain here will be essential when we start looking for new stars for your kind to inhabit. Apparently, most of them don't even have air for you to breathe. Very lucky that Aetherius just so happens to provide everything you need to thrive. Or did mankind turn out the way they are because of the available resources, I wonder? Either way, nothing short of miraculous. I cannot wait to see more of it. Oh, that new pants. Pants we won't even be able to see. Although I am curious what they'll look like. Okay, that makes sense. Completely in theme with the other ones. This is all very wondrous, I'm sure, but I was rather hoping to learn more about your nourishing provision facilities. In other words, where's the food? I believe both the knowledge and consumables you seek may be found at Medial Agronomics. As I imagine, Singing Way and the others may intend to study every conceivable facet of this apparatus. I accidentally clicked again. Right, if I pause that though. Wouldst thou be so kind as to escort our visiting culinarian? Yes, that sounds much more interesting. Hopefully I'll be able to see firsthand some of the delicacies Oriange was telling me about. Even his incredibly vivid, if all a bit too verbose, descriptions cannot compare to the sampling them myself. Not to mention Aetherius will soon be no more, so I must learn all I can while there is still time. Let us brook no further delay. Oh, that's not too bad. I thought it was going to be like really deep in the cave. But it would seem that is not the case. So, the underground of Sharlayan, i.e. Labyrinthos, seems to be pretty much just Elpis under a different name. This is the place, yes. The heady aroma was enough to guide me here, and I've spotted several of the fruit and vegetables featured in our compendium. I'd dearly love to try some, but I read that those who help themselves to a farmer's crop without permission are often caught and put into pies. Perhaps you will ask whoever's in charge if they will be willing to part with a few samples? Come on, cooking ware. fine mess this is. Ah, it's you, the one who climbed down the mine shaft. I'd show you around if I could, but I'm rushed off my feet preparing for the Exodus. And I'm not the only one. We've all got to find ways to do what we... we've all got to find ways to do what we do down here, up there. First on the moon, then on whichever star the Forum decides will become our new home. It's all so sudden, so unreal. Don't you want to go to the moon? Well, it's better than waiting for the final days to claim us. But no matter how carefully it's all planned, we'll never be able to take every variety of flora and fauna with us. Even the ones we can take may not survive in the new environment. So many species doomed to extinction. Sorry, that's not what you came to talk about, is it? Nothing quite so dire, I assure you. We merely wish to take a sample of your little produce. We merely wish to sample a little of your produce, if we may. And by all means, help yourself. Much appreciated, my good fellow. So, where to begin? Alright then. Come on, little bunny man. Oh, you know what these are? Grapes, yes? Let's see if they're just as delicious as they look. So sweet, so sour. The taste is much like a ripe philosopher's carrot, and yet the texture is entirely different. The contrast between the outer skin and the fruit within is most peculiar, though far from unpleasant. Yes, I think I'll try another. Well, that certainly gives me food for thought, though I'm in a far less visceral manner than any philosopher's carrot. But tell me, what's your opinion on grapes? A brave and erupting volcano for a choice bunch. Ghastly things, I'd rather eat. No. No. Yes, they are rather Moorish, aren't they? And from what I've read, quite versatile too. Something about people stepping on them to make intoxicating beverages, as I recall. Anyway, that's enough grapes for the time being. On to the next treat. Ooh, oranges. Orange by name, orange by nature. What came first, the fruit or the colour? Who cares? Let's eat. Nom 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 nom. Nom 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 nom. Yes, that's equal parts sweet and sour, as with the grapes, yet nothing alike. I may have to consult Oriange about expanding my vocabulary. I simply cannot find the words to describe it. Perhaps what I'm looking for is bitter. It's not very complicated, you know. So many flavors, so many choices, and each individual has their own personal preferences. Now I see why you all turned your nose up at the idea of eating nothing but carrots. Marvelous though they are in my estimation, but no one say I said otherwise. But speaking of carrots, I've yet to sample any of the vegetables. Let's see what's in that field over there. What's even growing here? Oh, pumpkins. That colour, that texture. Are they some sort of enormous round carrot? No? In any case, proper nomenclature is less than of concern of the taste. Ugh, it's so hard and flavourless. May as well be chewing a piece of wood. It's all but confirms it. These are nothing but misbegotten failures masquerading as goodly carrots. Stop! Can't you see these are pumpkins? No, with any sense for trying them raw, you're supposed to cook them first. You're not finding an awful bother. Far from it. Cooking is a joy unto itself. And what's more, it broadens the range of ingredients that we may safely eat. But above all else, cooking allows us to draw out the full potential of our produce. Pumpkin stew has been one of my favourite dishes for as long as I can remember. Then perhaps even these hard blocks of plant matter can become as delicious as the orange I sampled. I wonder though, if there is anything even more delicious. How about that yellow fruit over yonder? Oh no, it's a lemon, isn't it? It is, isn't it? You're a lemon. What a wondrous fragrance. With luck, oh, it'll have a flavour to match. Oh, you're going to get a bit of a shock, little rabbit. As I have no idea how these are eaten, I'll just bite into it. I can't... Is this poison? A lemon? You mean it's supposed to take like that? How can something so similar to an orange be so revolting? Maybe sometime before my palate recovers from this ordeal. As such, I'd best call it into this round of sampling. Let's say our farewells and return to the others. Finished, have you? I trust you found something to your liking. I'm rather enamoured with the grapes and oranges, less so the pumpkins, though I learned the hard way they're not to be eaten raw. Then there was a lemon, the deceiver. I feel so violated. First time, was it? I'd hate for you to leave with a bad taste in your mouth. In more ways than one. So I'll give you this lemon muffin I baked. It doesn't change. It doesn't change your opinion. Nothing will. More lemon? Have I not suffered enough? Nevertheless, it would be remiss of me to spurn this opportunity to... Oof. You're sick, Kate, up there. Learn more of your inscrutable ways. Very well, lemon muffin, do your worst. This is delicious. Although I still detect a hint of lemon, it complements the sweetness of the dough to create a perfect harmony. I would never have guessed its vile bitterness could be utilized so elegantly. My good chap, this is simply breathtaking. See, we've rarely used lemon in its natural state, but it has a starring role in all sorts of recipes. The same is true for many other ingredients. It comes down to making the most of the resources at our disposal. And sometimes, that can be the difference between life and death. I know we won't be able to take every species with us. No doubt the forum agonized over what was worth preserving. And what will be consigned to history. Hard choices, but make them we must if we're to survive. Such strength of will. Now I see what Heidelin sees in her kind. Mankind, the Leporites, we were both born from the accumulated knowledge of the ancients. They learned all there is to learn about the nature of sentient life and the fates of the stars themselves. Once a civilization has fulfilled the basic requirements for survival, it will inevitably seek to eliminate all forms of negativity and to achieve perfection. Therein lies its folly and its downfall. For perfection is an unattainable ideal. It is a paradox of the immaculate carrot. Yet civilizations, since time immemorial, have deemed the pursuit of perfection as progress. They pay no heed to the costs incurred in their futile quest, and all too often become the architects of their own demise, their dreams forever unfulfilled. What then is the alternative? The answer lies in knowing that our existence can never be perfect. To be content with what we have, and make the most of it. When life gives you lemons, make lemon muffins. Pardon my Eosian, but what the seven hells you on about? And who are you anyway? Cooking Way, at your service. I'm here to help prepare for the trip to the moon. And once you get there, you'll be able to try my carrots. I've been growing all different kinds. But don't worry, there'll be room for your crops too. We'll work together to preserve as many of Aetherius' samples as possible, if you're up to the challenge. Yes, of course, I look forward to it. Well, this has been highly productive. This all been highly productive. Probably. Let's go and see Urianger and the others. If Urianger and the others have run out of machinery to inspect, shall we? Farewell, Mr. Farmer Man. Mount up. Away we go. Give it a click for this. Oh, we've just like fly out and not interacted with any here. I'm assuming that's this one. Oh dear. Whoops. Yeah, I've just like ignored everything here. Oh dear. Well, I'll get on with that off stream as well. That was most enlightening, especially the part with the lemon muffin. Actually, I was wondering, do you know of any other places famed for their cuisine? Ooh. Yeah, I'll have to go with Limsa Laminsika's the Culinarians Guild. Limsa Laminsa is the home of the Culinarians Guild, and many less than savoury establishments. Not that I had time to visit. The more I learn of Aetherius, the more I wish I could spare it from the final days. Alas, Adeline's orders are to flee, not to resist. If only there was some other way. And today I trust thy time and medieval agronomics did bear fruit. Our own efforts too were rewarded. We are now possess an embarrassment of educational riches. No doubt our guests' relentless pursuit of knowledge could occupy them, and us for a fortnight. Alas, time is of the essence. Let's return to Sharlayan Hamlet forthwith. I shall gladly attend to each and every laporit there, should further questions within my power, should further questions within my power to answer arise. Yes, it was indeed me verbalizing a sigh to express my emotional state. Did you want to know why? Because I saw the reconstructed environmental data for our theories at Logisticon Alpha, that's why. A forest so lovely and so leafy. Are all your forests like that? You should see the ones of the first one was purple. Now I'll go with the black shroud was quite leafy indeed, and a place of utmost tranquility. Gasp! Gasp, I say! The star so wonderful, it comes as no surprise that you're reluctant to leave it behind. I was a fool to think otherwise, to assume that the moon was something worth being proud of. How ridiculous we must seem to you, trying so hard yet achieving so little. Oh, don't be so hard on yourself. Not at all. My works are no less worthy for their uniqueness. I thought I heard tiny voices. Thancred. How didst thou fare? Oh, I was able to glean a fair bit from the researchers while helping to move their cargo. Preparations have been proceeding without interruption here, despite news of the coming end. We have the forum's leadership to thank for that. So many people aren't worried, though. Quite the opposite. Knowing disaster could strike at any moment, they hurry to complete their work, equally aware that a single error could make the difference between life and death. And we can hardly tell them there's no cause of concern. Perhaps not, though aided by our goodly growing way, we may yet find other ways to lighten that burden. Me? Give use to people? I'm honoured that you think of me so capable, but I'm not sure I'm up to the challenge. Nevertheless, I believe in thee. If you say so, I suppose it can't hurt to try. I passed someone moping in the Western Plaza that looked to be in need of a helping paw. Perhaps you might be able to start with him. It's as good a place as any. Come. Over this way. Did not mean to click on that. To build a researcher. Oh, can I help you? It is you who would help me? Is my interest truly so obvious? Am I anxious? What did I just read? A burden shared is a burden eased. Pray, tell us of thy troubles. Those little fellows do look like good listeners. I'm an engineer, you see. And what they say of the ship, that's the sum of decades of Shalian ingenuity, that's built with peerless, elegant technology. It is all true, but I know that none of that's a guarantee. We've never even launched a starfaring vessel, let alone flown in it. Flown in the great expanse. All the tests we've run have been on the ground. All the operational personnel and cargo will be aboard the first voyage. But even so, if it fails us, then what can we do? And if it doesn't, it could fall apart on the next flight, or the one after that. We've done everything we can to prevent that from happening, but it hardly matters. We thought the Ether Bundle's design was flawless too. Look how that turned out. Thou art familiar with these most daunting technologies, and thus dost thou hold the power to allay his fears? Oh, I'm not sure about that, but, well, maybe you can tell me if there's any aspects of the ship's design that you're especially worried about. Our ability to walk about and perform our tasks, for one. I've devised a means by which to employ gravity, a spatio-temporal spell, to regulate the environment, but what if it's not strong enough? What if everyone floats away and begins crashing into things as soon as we've left the star? Aha, gravitation. Maybe I can be of help after all. Up there is no different from down here, you see. The same rules apply. If you consider them as part of one great big cosmos rather than separate places. I suspect both parties shall find comfort in this conversation. Yet, if Thancred's tale be true, still others would benefit from insight born of experience. Might I prevail upon the Laporites to attend them? An excellent idea, if I do say so myself. There is naught we'd like more than to ease the hearts of the fine people of Aetheris. I'll learn about them while we're at it. Full glad am I to hear it. Gather thy companions and bring them hither. Thou hast a gift for finding souls in need of succor. Pray, seek thee out the distressed and the apprehensive and inform them that help is at hand. I shall await them here, that I might introduce each to a suitable Laporte. Oh, I do so look forward to that. A place for every Laporte, and every Laporte in their place. First off, we're going to go for this one. Hello? Nope, come on. There we go. Apologies, but I'm awaiting a delivery. Whatever it is, we'll have to wait. Alright, cool. That is an interesting Kvayoshi, maybe? A bit difficult for one like me to pronounce, I think. If that's even how you pronounce it. Have you heard anything what's on the moon? I've no doubt that we can make it up there, but the searching for a new star part of the planet sounds awfully vague to me. I asked the forum, but they will only tell us that our collaborators have everything under control. Forgive me, but I don't feel particularly safe wandering through the sea of stars on God's know what made by God's know who. Well, if you head over that way, there's some people that can attempt to talk to them. We'd say that I can speak with them directly. Amazing! I hope they like the questions. I just liked it. Like, ah! Worries? No, I believe I'm fine, thank you. I've been confiding in my colleagues, and it's helped a lot. I can't recommend it enough. Wonderful. It was nice to see that people got support. Now, better. We'll hop on. Make it quicker. There you are, occupied administrator. How might I help you? Do you need any help? Why, what a lovely idea. I too noticed people becoming rather tense, so I rushed out to pluck some fresh, fragrant tea leaves. Now I need only track down 100 or so cups. But don't you worry, I can manage. I hope your plan to cheer everyone up goes well. Do better than I am, nice. Alright, we'll have a look up. Actually, we'll have our search down here first, and then we'll start moving up the platform. Ooh. Consult our collaborators. I suppose that could be more effective than sitting here brooding. I'm attempting to calculate how much cargo we can consolidate in fewer trips. Should make the ether burner. Should the ether burner make its original estimates feasible, unfeasible? But there are simply too many variables. I feel as if my brow will turn inside out. But perhaps our lunar associates will have more insights into how much weight constitutes too much weight for our purposes. Thank you for letting me know. My face? What's wrong with my... Ow! Perhaps I'm a bit too tense. I was tasked with ensuring the proper fauna, and only the proper fauna, are brought with us to the moon. However, the suitability of a few species is still under debate. I can hardly make the decision myself when so little is known about the environment up there. Including the reports in our discussions would be a wonderful idea. I absolutely will, thank you. Perhaps their biology itself might have some clue as well. Never. That could be. You, yes you idiot. Have you seen an envelope lying about? This imbecile refuses to give me the alchemic I ordered without a blooming slip of parchment. Unless your friends have a spell to make me remember where I dropped my damned envelope. I doubt they've been more help than you, and you've wasted enough of my time already. Yeah, no. Ant-Man is very rude and can suffer on his own. Haha! The end of the world is nigh. My work goes no faster. Schedules are such temperamental things. Feasible one moment, or crap the next. And yet, I've never felt so alive. Just beyond the help, only sleep can set. Tragic. Oh, that's an example of a wolf that I couldn't find yesterday. What am I thinking about? The medical facilities on the ship, of course. I designed them with the assistance of our sages and chirurgeons, but to imagine every illness or injury that one might face is in the great expanse is beyond any of us. To say nothing of the effects that living out there might indefinitely might have on the body. The crew from the moon? I dare not think of that. So we are pretty much just bouncing around everywhere going, yo, go look at that! There's rabbits! Space rabbits! Just leave me to my misery. The phone could have put someone else. I apologize. I simply don't know what to do. How am I supposed to pilot the Ark if I'm already falling apart under the pressure? You know a starship pilot that I might speak with, truly? Well then, there's no time to waste. You can help me prepare for this monumental task. You got it, my dude. Anything bothering me? Well, I've been loading cargo for bells now, so my back feels like a void sense played it like as a piano. My feet and knees are drums and drums and cymbals too. Needs a bit of a break. That's fair. That's fair. If I'm remembering which ones the gleaners are, they have been like worked to the bone pretty much. It's understandable. They just want a break. We'll just make sure we've actually checked everywhere we can before we start to move up. Bunches of wheat on the ground, 56 bunches of wheat in the ground, 56 bunches of weeds. Rip went out at the mound, 55 bunches of wheat in the... I'm not neglecting my duties, I swear. I was in need of a little break, you see, and then I found myself unable to relax at all, so I went on a walk, noticed these weeds, and... pleasant conversation partners, and oh so fuzzy. Goodness me, that does sound like a much better way to relax. You see, the issue that I've got is it extends all the way, like, up here as well. So I need to track down 2 more people. Good news is, that has no entry, that has a no entry sign on it, which means no one's in there. Right, there doesn't seem to be anyone else up here. Which unfortunately means I've missed them somewhere else. Maybe one of them's like over here, maybe that's one. Maybe that's another one. Okay, well we've got one. Need to open this is one of the 2. Class's assistants, where have they gone off to at a time like this? Beg pardons, I have no time for idle chit-chat. I need to reconfirm that the ether levels are consistent throughout the vessel's machinery, and it seems I shall have to do so single-handedly. I swear, when I find those assistants of mine... The Loporits are willing to help? Why didn't you say so? At least they won't moan about having to check 24 times already, and I haven't slept in weeks. Easy sods. Not to question anyone's dedication or anything, but some people kind of hyper-focus, like that guy, and if he also hasn't slept in weeks, then he's probably just not feeling it because of how his brain works. So I would highly recommend him to sleep at some point, if he can. Just like his assistants, I would recommend that they sleep if they can. Or more appropriately, when they can. So Oh, there you are. Level-headed engineer. Concerns? Nay, there's no one worrying at this stage. It'll only make the work go that much slower. You're coping well. I need to find someone that isn't coping well. That isn't completely off the rocker. Hyperventilating engineer, you're the one I needed. Oh god, my chest is tight. Am I dying? Is this what dying feels like? My joke if I just pulled up his end, just like, oh, do pardon me, I didn't see that. There's no cause for concern, I assure you. No cause for concern, even though we may need to depart at any moment. If the hull I designed buckles under the strain, the entire vessel may explode on launch, claiming the countless lives and dooming all mankind. But that's highly unlikely. Yes, highly unlikely. Highly. Our visitors can help me triple check the structural flaws, you say? Well, that would be wonderful. I'm breathing more easily already. Pardon me. Oh, look, they're all just chatting to different ones. Nice. Behold, Santanu. Though through thine efforts, word hath spread through Labyrinthos. Verily, to a far greater number than we anticipated. Living way doth gather more reports as we speak. I shall assign each in accordance with their skills, that new bonds of friendship might be forged. Should greater matters require not thine attentions, watch over them. They're pretty.
Lively, isn't it? The town is abuzz. Everyone eager to meet with our friends from the moon.
It would behoove you to consult with Sleepingway. As our moon's pilot, his advice should be most pertinent.
I'm impressed. Truth be told, I struggle to tell one from another. No offense intended, of course.
None taken. After you and your friends left Mare Elementorum, we spent no small amount of time with your Urianger. Oh, the conversations we had. He told us all about Atheris, answered our every question, no matter how trifling or trivial. Look! Every page filled to the margins with knowledge. When I first arrived, I was struck by how little I knew. It was daunting. But then I realized that were it not for Urianger and his teachings, we'd still be stuck on the moon, gazing at your world and wondering what we've been missing.
What would they think if they could see Urianger now? I dare say they'd be more than a bit surprised. And impressed, no doubt. Master Louisoix, Nymphilia, Papalimo, and not to forget.
Oh there. Heard there was a visiting expert who we might bother with a few questions. I take it you'd be the one.
Oh.
Yeah. Yes, I am.
This could be emotional. I'm pretty sure that was Marita's parents.
Wilson and Blavida, Sharlayan's foremost researchers in the field of teleportation magic, and Moonbreeder's parents.
It hath been some time. Tis good to see you in good health.
Likewise, old friend. Blavida and I were most honored to answer the call. Never expected this reunion, though, did we, dear?
I'll say, the nerve. Sending that letter, then running off to the gods know where. Do you have any idea how worried we were?
I'm sorry. 'Twas remiss of me not to deliver the news in person. No, more than that. 'Twas I who...
Our daughter was disillusioned after Master Louisoix left her behind. The day the Scions called upon her was the happiest I'd seen her in years. She made her every choice of her own free will. No one could have ever forced her to do otherwise. Don't blame yourself for her death. Celebrate her life. You know that's what she'd want.
If there is one thing we resent you for, it was that we couldn't be there to mourn her with you. Reading the words you penned in that shaky hand, we must have cried as much for you as we did for her.
I'm sorry. I truly am. I knew not what to say. Knew not how to express my feelings. The poems and platitudes of wiser men, musings on sadness and loss, studied and memorized, and meaningless in the moment.
Silly boy. We are all powerless before such grief. Even now, try as I might, the words escape me. But in our hearts, we know. We always know.
I remember when you were young, how the lads teased you for choosing the company of books over others. Our moon didn't take kindly to that. Be nice to Urianger, she'd shout, and give them a walloping. No matter how many times we scolded her.
So we offered a suggestion. Rather than starting fights, why don't you be the bridge between Urianger and the others? She had to mull it over for a while. Arms crossed, brow furrowed in intense thought. But from that day on, she never let you be alone. She'd drag you outside to play, pepper you with endless questions, read the same books you read, all to try and understand you that much better. I'm sure it was annoying and exhausting at the time, but she only ever had the best of intentions.
And look at you now, at the center of the crowd. The reason there even is a crowd, having brought these people together. You've no idea how proud we are.
To see the boy our daughter trusted and believed in more than anyone grow into the man she always knew he could be. I can see her in you too. Feel her. She walks with you wheresoever you go. So thank you, Urianger, for being who you are.
I think I can feel her too. The truth of her life. Not sorrow, but hope and love.
Well, that wasn't expected. I always forget that they don't like to hold the punches.
Moon Breeder. She was important to him, wasn't she?
You could ask the man himself.
Oh, no. But watching this exchange reminds me how much I've yet to learn about your world. And its people.
You can live here your entire life and hardly learn a thing. And that's why it's too soon for this to end.
Oh, simply. Be assured that I am fine. I am. Felt glad I might see them too, after so long. Rather still that it was in your company. As difficult as it was to accept their kindness, it would have been far harder had I faced them alone. Thou hast my gratitude for lending courage to the lords. Not disposed to rest on their laurels, several of our guests have elected to accompany my countrymen to their stations. Some few still come hither seeking counsel, and so I shall remain to aid them as need be. If thou art needed elsewhere, do not let me detain thee. As a matter of fact, I was hoping you might check on Alice. Last I saw, she was struggling to carry an enormous pile of boxes out the west gate. I could go myself, but we both know whose help she's less likely to succumb. Not to mention that, much to my misfortune, I can think of several things I ought to be doing until later. Sorry, I'm just. This isn't something that I'd want to like read out, but I just want to talk to them a bit. That was completely unexpected, and yeah, unexpected. There's a child here in the first place. We might as well grab the quests quickly, just so I don't completely forget about them, because I am almost confident that I will should I leave it. Viera Gleaner, you're not the Gleaner I know. You're not my friend. I mean, you could be, but you're not yet. Let's go find Elsa. I'm guessing there's a mob in the area. Looks like we got a lot of meme lords in chat, and I'm honestly quite glad that I have chat hidden, because I don't trust them not to write weird stuff. Santi, what are you doing out here? What are you doing out here? What are you doing out here? I don't mind if you help with the boxes, but it's far from the most exciting of tasks. Are you sure? Oh, I appreciate the assistance. We need to get these to Aporia. Time is short, of course, but they're full of organic specimens and samples, so try not to be too rough with them. Alfino should be waiting for us when we arrive. I'll see you there. Right, whereabouts are we carting this off to? Straight down this road. Oh, that's sod it, we'll just go across here. Probably fine. Straight forward. Oh, yep, there's a gate there. Continue on, and we should be golden. Just gonna quickly check up on something. Looking at where we are with the quests, I might have this be the last for tonight, and then we'll continue next time. Oh, you're helping with the crates. Wonderful. You can put that there with the others. You have my gratitude, but how did you come to be involved in this? Well, Thancred informed me of heavy crates. Ah, I suppose I have Thancred to thank as well. If you're wondering why we're tasked with bringing these boxes to Aporia to begin with, well, so was I. It turns out that this is the base of operations of sorts. Those with the final say as to what is included in the ship's manifest can be found here. Father included, I suspect. That should be everything. You carried all of them at once? You trying to injure yourself? Oh, hush. You're lighter than they look. Not everyone has your delicate arms. Suppose we should let someone know that we've finished. Theopoldin is in the courtyard. We can report to him. Will you come along? You should get credit for your assistance, at least. Considering where we are, we might even learn something interesting. Alrighty. Yeah, basically I just had a look at the quest list and we're like 3, I think, quests. Like after we hand this one in, sorry, there's 2 more quests, and then the one after that is a trial. But I'm feeling a bit tired at the moment, so I might just call it after this one. Plus I might need a little bit of a break after the conversation that just happened. Gods, it never ends, does it? What can I do for you? We've brought the samples from Charlian Hamlet, Series 110. The crates are by the entrance. Ah, thank you. I had expected one of my colleagues, but we are dreadfully short-handed. Just a moment. You are Falchnot's children, are you not? Alfino and Alice, at your service. You are well acquainted with Father, I take it. Quite. I've been friends with your parents since our days at the Studium. Remember when you were yay-high waddling hither and thither. Clearly it's been some time since we've met. It is good to see you again, wielding your father's no-lifts, no less. You knew our parents when they were young? What were they like, pray? Pray spare no detail. I should like nothing more than to regale you, alas, I am meant to be in charge here. Reams of paperwork want for submissions. We can help with that, in exchange for further soul stories our parents would never willingly divulge, of course. Very well then. There happen to be 3 sets of documents in need of delivery, so how about you each take one? Wait, right there. You'll find a foreign representative waiting to collect these near the southernmost structure. I hope I haven't kept her waiting too long. Never mind Alfino and Alice. I'm certain they will be back soon enough. So, southernmost, which would be down this way. But it's Ah, there you are. Are you not one of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn? I thought you were meant to be working on the Ether Banner. Theopoldin's paperwork. I was beginning to worry he had misplaced a quill. I appreciate your help in seeing these documents into my hands at last. As for your other task, pray keep this between us, but I sincerely hope you Scions succeed. The Exodus is, without a doubt, the most monumental undertaking in the history of the Forum. So, you must be circumspect in all respects. Risk is a privilege we cannot afford ourselves. At its heart, however, Charlian has ever been a nation of the curious. It would be a tragedy indeed if we were the ones to stymie your pursuit of truth. quick and efficient. I dare say you have a talent for this work. The twins' papers only needed to be delivered to elsewhere in the facility, so they should be returning any moment. Both at the same time, it seems. We return with not a scrap of paperwork remaining on our persons, you will note. You both have my thanks, and my apologies for sending you on an errand so far below your ambitions. Why, even as a babe you struggled out of your swaddling clothes and all. That's quite enough of that, thank you. Those compromising stories of our parents we'd asked to hear, to reiterate. Of course, of course. I've known your father for so long and must have something. Well, as you know, part of why the Livier's name garners such respect with Sharlayan is your family's storied history. But you can trace your ancestry directly to those who came aboard Nunkrep's Hope, a lineage few can claim. I've never thought much of it myself. It's not though our forebears founded our nation. They were simply there when it happened. Nevertheless, it has traditionally been a point of pride. It is why Nunkrep's pronouncement, renounce the ways of war and pursue enlightenment through knowledge and reason, has ever been our family's creed. Until your grandfather's time, aye. Sorry about that. Archon Louis looked not to Nunkrep's words, but his deeds. He asserted, in defiance of his peers, that choosing to save the great and the small from the rising tides would be the true mark of our founder's virtue. Perhaps it was his expertise, his knowledge of ancient prophecies and the fall of civilizations, that led him to conclude that to eschew conflict at every turn was to consign mankind to its doom. There will ever be conflict, and calamity will follow. Thus, to ignore the plight of those one might conceivably save is not wisdom, it is indolence. Remember his words well indeed. Archon Louis lived by that personal creed, and used every means necessary at his disposal to bring succor to those in need, Sharlayan or no. No one loved and admired your grandfather more than his son. Yet, Fortunel could not reconcile Louis's deeds with the philosophy of their forebears and his peers, a philosophy in which he believed so fervently, yet made a pariah of his father. Fortunel agonized over the contradiction for much of his life. But father. Son may carry his father's blood, but his choices are his own to bear. Is that not always thus? God knows Fortunel's cranky old... Fortunel's a cranky old goat. I'm sure you butt heads often enough, yet even so you must know that you are constantly in his thoughts, every moment of every day. But that is not an exaggeration, exaggeration in the slightest. You should have seen him when you were born. Barely recognizable he was. And of dumbfounded grin I've not seen since the first time he took a fancy to your mother. Practically skipping when he told me the news. Take my word for it, he loves you to an embarrassing degree. But he is so frustratingly single-minded. Once he decided that the given option is for the best, he will stay the course no matter what or who opposes him. A profoundly annoying habit when you're on the other end of it, and as I'm sure you will agree. I'll say, thank you for your insight. When we next meet our parents, I shall mention that we spoke. Try not to get me in too much trouble now. I need to fall on my side. Speaking of which, I ought to be getting back to work. I have to make sure these specimens you brought me make it to the proper places. A cranky old goat will have my hide. I'll speak again later. Hail, you three. Aha! Surely Coco hasn't driven you out of the forge already. For better or worse, no. However, he has sent me a task that requires more than my single pair of hands. And here you are. I could use at least one of you, but I won't object to more. Unfortunately, Alice and I have prior commitments. Delayed for too long as it is. What about you, Santini? Can you spare the time? Oh, easily. Perfect. This shouldn't take long. Alright. What we're going to do is equip our new gloves, which look quite snazzy. I appreciate that all the armour seems to match the other bits. I'm just going to hide that so we don't have to worry about that. I shall see if anyone else is live that I can send you all over to. If I do not see anyone that I would usually raid, we'll just end here. Yeah, no, I think we're good for tonight. Thank you anyone that has been lurking. Really appreciate it. And yeah, I shall catch you next time.